All right, welcome everybody to another school year. Again, my name is Brian McLogan if you're new to this channel, and I wanted to kind of do just a introductory live stream to kind of get the year off to a good start. My goal and plan this year is to continue kind of doing some more live streams every single week in addition to my videos. So what I'll be doing is kind of looking at some different things. Today I want to do kind of like an open Q&A, something where I can answer your guys' questions and just kind of see whatever classes you guys are taking. And then also just kind of doing some additional live streams where I'm not really going to do some Q&A, but you guys can kind of see me work through some material. This year I am teaching pre-calculus again. So if that's something that you are going to be taking, or if you're taking like a college algebra or a calculus, those are a lot of the topics that we're going to cover in pre-calculus is also probably going to be beneficial to you. As far as my channel goes, there's some things that I also wanted to make sure that I, described with you guys or explained on this video. So therefore you guys can kind of see, what to expect throughout the year. So just real quick, just wanted to kind of see, it looks like everything is coming through. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? Sean, pre-calc test already tomorrow. Wow, man, that's getting at it. So questionable, hello girl, Kavari, and you guys have a lot of long names. So I'll try to do my best to say hello, or at least time to check in with you guys. But I did only want to do a live stream probably. Oh crap, I forgot to plug it in. Well, guess what? We're gonna do a live stream as long as my battery is going to last, which is probably not going to be that long since I'm running the live stream applications and all this stuff off of there. But either way. I only wanted to go for roughly around 20 minutes and just an opportunity to kind of give you guys an update as far as the channel, as well as to kind of maybe answer some questions for those of you that we're working on some things. So I do see some of you guys that are already typing in some questions. That's awesome. I'm going to get back to those in just a second. But first, let me just kind of go through some things that I've been thinking about. And obviously, I always, whenever I'm done with a chat or a live stream, I always go back and just kind of look through the chat. So if you do have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in there. And I'll be, I'll try to do my best to at least make sure I can get to all of them. And to kind of get your guys' feedback. So first of all, I'm looking into, obviously going to start doing some live streams. I am teaching, obviously, in the classroom. If you've been around my channel enough, you've seen a lot of the videos. So I do want to do some open Q&As. Last year, I did live streams where I was doing my homework for my students. And then sometimes I had like 5 minutes to do Q&A. Sometimes I'd have 30 minutes. But either way, the live streams, I think, took too long. And either people were interested in watching me do the homework, or they're interested in the Q&A. So what I want to do is kind of split those up. So I want to do a Q&A only stream. Looking into probably doing something like that, like a Sunday or a Monday evening, sometime around this time. And then the other live stream I want to do is basically just going to be, as I kind of teach through my notes, I always make corrections and everything, and I provide the answers for my students so they can go back. Well, while I'm doing that, there's no point in me just being quiet and doing math at home. I can just go ahead and go live, have a little chat with some of you in there. It'll kind of be a little bit of an informal stream. Not going to have time to really answer many of your questions, except for maybe a couple questions that are on the content. But I think it'll just be a fun thing for you guys to kind of see how I work, late at night, preparing for my, after I've already taught the lessons or preparing for the next class. You guys can kind of see my thought process as far as how I taught the content or the material, and some of the corrections or some of the problems that I provided my students in class. So I think that will be a pretty cool thing. And for those of you that are in pre-calculus, or at least are in Algebra 2 or even Algebra 1, college algebra, trigonometry, calculus, I think you'll benefit from a lot of the content that I'm going to cover in there as well. The other thing I want to let you guys know is, since I've been teaching pre-calculus, my videos, my channel, the 11,000 plus videos I have, majority of them are me teaching inside of the classroom. And it's really hard for me not to teach and then automatically want to hit record for like every single time that I start talking. But this year I'm trying to step back a little bit from doing that, just because I have so many videos on on everything that I'm already teaching. I mean, this is my second year teaching all pre-calculus again. So I'm trying to, one, not obviously teach direct as much, but then two, just not upload so many of those videos. So what I'm trying to do is reduce my uploads and just try to do uploads that are going to be a little bit more in depth and a little bit more strategic as far as what I'm covering. But that's also going to allow me to do some videos that you haven't seen in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-algebra, work through some problems in calculus and so on and so forth. So I think the reducing of me teaching inside of the classroom, which many of you probably like and aren't going to like me not doing the classroom videos as much. But I think that as far as me growing my channel and me continuing to make videos, I think that's going to be the best way for me to be able to continue making videos. Obviously, you guys can see I have a different well, I guess you guys can't really see much of my backdrop. Probably doesn't make too much difference for you. But I am in a new studio, basically a bedroom of in our house, and a little bit different than doing it in my living or my dining room last year. So that'll just allows me to be able to make a little bit more, I can now shut the door and focus on making some videos. So I think as far as making some content, those are the things I just want to let you guys know. I have already recorded myself teaching inside class, and so when I want to throw in some of those videos, I'll keep on throwing those back into the mix so you guys can see me obviously teaching just like I am in class. It's very hard for me to teach and not hit record. I've been doing that since 2010, so it's kind of crazy, but I'm very used to whenever I have to teach, hitting record, getting my mic on and all that kind of stuff. So that's really about it, guys, that I really wanted to cover. Obviously, if you guys have some questions about myself or about this teaching or about math or learning math in general, feel free to let them know. And then obviously, if you have some content questions, then I'll be more than happy to get into them as well. So I'll just go ahead and check into your guys' kind of chat, say hello to some of you, and just kind of see what questions I can kind of go through. So let's kind of scroll back up. All right. Can you prove 1 is equal to 2? No, Carl, I'm not going to prove 1 is equal to 2. Or I'm going to cover 2 plus 2. But hey, Trevi, how do you find the midpoint of JL and K is in the middle? JK is 9x minus 5 and KL is 7x plus 3, and define JL. Wow, all right, it's been a long time since I've done some geometry, so that'd be a good one to kind of go through. Let's see here. This is going to be, what's today's? Oh man, my live is not coming in straight. Oh, I'm not getting a strong stream. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, I was actually kind of wondering why my picture wasn't folding up too great. So either way, I'll have to make sure I work on my Ethernet cord. That's why I wanted to do one live stream, at least in here, to get everything verified, just therefore I can mix it up. So looks like my stream length is a little bit low. Let me just check on, yeah, wow, that's surprising. Okay. Either way, oh man, my phone. Hold on a second. All right. All right, yeah, it's... Trey, I'll be able to get to your question. Missa, you gotta, we'll post in, Mr. Boyd, please post in your YouTube channel, the math classroom teacher from Jamaica. That's awesome. Please show your channel so we can definitely check it out. That's awesome. And yeah, that's really cool, man. What's the equation for the height of an equilateral triangle in terms of the side length? All right, so we got that one. I'll go ahead and cover that. Now, say professor. Yes, Trevi, I'll get you in geometry. I got that for you. Well, hey, Isabel, good to see you. And yes, I know going through the summer, obviously you get yourself out of that math mode and you can just, forget everything so quickly. And I know it's sometimes like overwhelming to come back to math class. I can definitely tell even when I was starting to do our math today in our lessons, students were just like getting that glazed eye, I don't remember a lot of this stuff. And some of the stuff we were doing today, it was stuff we've learned in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And, you know, they might have felt real bad. I didn't really feel too bad. They didn't forget it as much, just because I knew that it's one of those things that you just, you know, making some steps and some progress into it and stuff starts coming back. Right now, it kind of seems like maybe a little overwhelming, especially for a lot of math, because it's been a while since you've really kind of gotten to the grind of doing everything. How do you identify equations? I'm not really sure, Nix, what you are referring to. And Bill, sorry, I know it's kind of tough. I know point slides and planes, it's kind of hard to like type in a question or any of that kind of stuff. I'll do the best that I possibly can, but it's been a couple years since I've taught in geometry, so I'm not really sure, you know, what exact subject problems that would be best to do. And it's really kind of hard for me to, again, guys, do problems that, you know, when you talk about topics, I don't want to spend too many time, because usually when you tell me to do something like do these types of problems or like that, I'm just making a guess, and it might benefit you or it might not. Can you do a playlist on discrete math? I would love to, Nazar. That is one reason why I am kind of stepping away from making so many of my classroom videos, so therefore I can do some more math that I'm not currently teaching, especially like more in discrete math. However, ladies and gentlemen, my battery is about to die a lot quicker than I thought it was. So I will be right back to get my charger. All right, cool. We are back up and running. So there you go. So Phoebe, abstract integrals. Yes, obviously. Well, I don't really want to get into too much of the calculus, just because it's been a couple years since I went last back and taught it. So even though I would be able to do it, my explanation probably would not be as refined and as on point as I'd probably like it to be. But that's obviously why I wanted to kind of, you know, it stinks when you just like are teaching something that's like all you're in depth in. And what I want to do is kind of get back into that calculus so I can stay fresh on my explanations. You know, geometry, it's been so many years since I've taught geometry. I want to stay fresh on those explanations. Abdullah, thank you very much. Murphy wants to get his charger. Yes, I got my charger. Thank you. All right. I'll say the domain and range of these polynomial functions. Well, the good thing, Sean, just to kind of answer your question real quick before I get to some of the other ones, the good thing about a polynomial function is it's continuous, and the domain and range are going to be defined for all real values. So I'm not sure if that's what meant you say for domain and range, but yeah, if you have a domain and range, it's going to be defined for all real numbers. But let's get to a couple questions. Let's go through on geometry. Who was that? Trey. K is the midpoint of JL. Where was that question, Trey? All right. So how do you find the midpoint of JL and K is in the middle? So I'm going to say we're going to have JL, K is in the middle, and then we have JK is equal to 9x minus 5, and KL is equal to 7x plus 3. And the question is find JL. So I'm assuming find the length. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and cover that question. There was another question that I wanted to cover here. And again, guys, if you're just kind of joining the stream, I'm just kind of doing some open questions. So if you do have some questions, I'll try to do my best to answer. Obviously, I'm not a genius. I can't answer everybody's different type of question, no matter what you're in math. But I can do my best to try to explain, or at least give you some ideas of where to go. And then I also just kind of did some updates as far as some upcoming lives that I plan to do. And also to kind of let you guys know, the a lot of these are going to have to be the pre-submitted, kind of questions, just to kind of make things go by easier. Because I want these, when I'm doing these live streams for the open Q&A, I would like it to kind of go as, not so much as quickly, but, efficiently. People have questions, cover the questions from on there. All right. Let's see. Where was that other question I wanted to cover? Calc BC, yeah, I do agree. I want to get more into some calc questions for sure. All right. The equation for the height of an equilateral triangle in terms of the side length. Okay, that was it. So we'll do that. So, oops. So what is the equation of a equilateral triangle? What is the equation for the height? Ooh, it's a horrible height. All right. So basically, you got to go ahead and figure out h. Okay, I can figure that out. All right, guys. Well, I have 2 questions. Unless anybody else has anything else. Hey, Victoria. Good to see the videos helped you out. That is awesome. So happy for you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to making some more content. Murphy asked, do you teach any other subjects? No, Murphy, I just teach Murphy, I just teach math, and that's basically what my direction is. So I'm only teaching pre-calculus this year. Maybe that was more your question, like not subject but classes. I'm only teaching calculus, pre-calculus this year, but at my school I've taught everything from Algebra 1 all the way up to AP Calculus. And so, but I've just kind of been stuck in the pre-calculus world for this year and last year. So, I really like variety. It's kind of tough to teach the same thing over and over again, but I'm doing the best I can with it. So, but hopefully that's going to allow me to make some more videos and then also be able to interact with you guys as well. And Jade says hello. Isha says hello. And Lacarty says, hi, I have a test tomorrow, and the question is solve for the angle BAT, given that AC is an angle bisector. Do you have the angle for angle BAT? Lacarty, that would be probably helpful for me to kind of explain. Otherwise, I can just do a random example for you. But I'm not really sure if solving BL AC is a angle bisector. I'll try to do my best to kind of explain for that, but I'm not sure what the I'll just say angle AC is an angle bisector. But I'm not sure I have all the information to help you with the exact same problem. So either way, and then also I see Isha says hi, and then do you have some advice for how to not fail math? Yes, I do. I actually have a whole step-by-step guide for you to follow in like 10 steps to survive math class this year. That was not really my plan to promote, obviously that, but if you go to my website, freemathvideos.com, I believe on the bottom, I've been messing around with it, but I believe on the bottom I do have an area where you can opt in and get a free copy of my surviving math class, because there is 10 really big steps that I really do kind of go into detail regarding to have a better year. And you know what I mean? It just, a lot of it is common stuff, but a lot of it stuff might not, you maybe have heard, but maybe is a little different than, maybe you were thinking. And it's all stuff that I learned as a student when I struggled with math and how it helped me get through my math classes when I was struggling and stuff like that. So go ahead and find it. If not, reach out to me and I can definitely, look into giving you a copy as well. So BAT is 2x plus 10. I'm still not even sure what I'm supposed to be. 2x plus 10. AC is a angle bisector. I'm still not sure if there's any other information. It's kind of hard not to obviously see it and to be able to, understand what I'm trying to look for. So 2x plus 10. So therefore you have an angle bisector. Let me know if there's any other piece of information that I should be able to use, because I'm not sure what else I can do for this. All right. Alex says, how do you determine if a point of discontinuity is removable or non-removable? That's a good one. I can go ahead and cover that. We talked about that today in class. So I'll do a quick little one for that. Let's do x squared minus 4x plus 3. And let's see, x squared. X squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, I think I did that factoring correct. We'll go and check. And BAC is 3x plus 5. Okay. Jeez. It's BAC is 3x minus 5. Okay, I'll go ahead and give that a shot. It's been a while, so I'm hoping I'm all right there. Of course, why does this always happen? Every single time I do a live stream, the questions just keep on coming in as I'm trying to work it. So I am going to have to do a little cutoff. Let me just go ahead and check in, back and through, kind of go back up. But I'm going to start getting through your guys' questions that you did submit them here right around in the next couple of minutes. So let me just kind of check to see people that came up before, and then if there's any other questions down below, I'll try to answer best I can. So more so getting into my first calculus class, super nervous because I feel like I don't know any math to be in that class. Help. Well, the main thing is, calculus has a little bit of, takes on a bad rap, or it can take on a bad rap. A lot of people think that it's this extremely difficult course, and it can be. And obviously you can expand on the calculus and, it can be very difficult, but I think one thing is, as long as you're willing to, keep on getting, practicing, especially if you're weak in math skills, practice, make sure you get with people that are, that can help you out and help explain things. I think the main thing with calculus is, because it is that different branch, a lot of students, you have to make that mental connection. And sometimes you're not going to get things right away. And so some people, they're not used to that. Maybe they understood things before and sometimes calculus, you don't wrap your head around things and you just need a little bit more time. So, one, be patient with yourself, be patient with your brain to allow it time, but then also give it the nutrients that it needs. Like give it some more practice and make sure you're around people that you can do your homework with. When I took calculus and I struggled with, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, the main thing that was beneficial to me was I had other people that I could do the math with. And I did the homework with, we bounced questions off each other, we studied together, and I think that was a very, very helpful tool for me getting into calculus, because I don't think I was prepared for calculus as well as I should have been. All right, thank you so much. Esther says, thank you much for you doing SAT math. Awesome, very good for you. Show her some math teacher doesn't really teach us. She gave us a study guide, and 70% of the stuff was never taught us. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what else to kind of say as far as for other teachers. I know everybody's up in the air. And it's kind of tough too a lot of times to pick things to as far as challenging students for stuff they've never seen, or also giving students just stuff and then expecting them to be able to do it. I know it's difficult, and it's difficult as a teacher too. For myself, trying to decide when I'm going to teach my students something and then have them do it, or compared to other times where I just want to give them something and have them discuss it mathematically and kind of see where to go. No Fortnite for me. My nephews though definitely play Fortnite, but I'm not playing Fortnite. I am so busy. I got 2 little girls, teaching full time, doing live streams at night. I just don't even have time. I used to play video games back in the day, but I literally just don't have any time anymore. So I'm a pretty busy guy. All right, tips on starting Algebra 1. Just go easy, be patient. All right, again, as I mentioned, sometimes people getting into Algebra 1, same thing. They get this bad vibe of math and it's difficult and variables and all that kind of stuff. Just be patient. Take your time. Practice. Get with people that can help you. You're going to come up to times where you don't understand things. You're going to get stuck. be patient, allow your brain to think through it, because you can definitely do algebra 1, you can definitely do calculus, but just give yourself, that time and keep on practicing and helping yourself out. All right. Thank you. I appreciate my fault, Ted. All right, guys, I'm going to cut off the answers. All right. And, all right, cut off the questions. I'm sorry. But, I'm going to cut off the questions, and I'm just going to kind of cover what I have here for you guys. And then obviously, guys, I will end the stream. I'm more likely than not, I'm probably going to do another stream. I might even be back tomorrow to do my answers for what we last did. But again, that's not going to be a content stream. That's just going to basically be me working through my homework or my students' notes stream. However, please, guys, keep it in your, if you can obviously get the bell, or just keep it in your schedule. I'm going to plan on probably having you guys submit some questions on Sunday and Monday. And then we'll probably be back here on Monday night. I think Monday night's probably going to be the easiest time for me to do these live streams, right around 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But either way, let's go ahead and get on to the problems here. And I'm going to do them in a different color. And I apologize if you have a question, you just joined the stream, and I'm not able to answer it for you. But, please note, guys, I will be live again next week, and this is something that I'm going to continue doing just out there to help you guys out that are, obviously fans of my channel and my videos. I want to do whatever I can to help you out, even though you're not in my class every day that I'm teaching. So basically, we have this length here. So we know the distance here, JK. Well, first of all, let's just pretend... let's just kind of look at this in terms of numbers, because I think anytime we're doing geometry and we mix in variables and equations, a lot of times I get confused. So if we know K is the midpoint, right? So I think, K is the midpoint. Let's just pretend then, let's just use numbers. If JL was 10, then we'd know JK is 5 and KL is 5. But basically, so what that tells me is JK plus KL equals JL, right? If something's the midpoint, that means it's going to basically cut that, in half, right? So if JL is some distance, let's just say it's 10, and we know K is the midpoint, then K is going to divide in half. Now, our example, we don't have 10 and 5, but we actually have some expressions. So we can use this equation, though, or this understanding, this statement of JK plus KL has to equal JL. And again, that's what we want to figure out is what exactly is JL. So let's add those two together. What am I thinking? No, okay, yeah. Duh. So not only does JK plus KL equals JL, but also JK is equal to KL, right? If K is the midpoint, then these two lengths have to be exactly the same. So right now we have these two lengths, we have JK and KL, but we don't have them as like numbers like 5. That would be easy, right? And that'd be obvious. We have them as variable or as algebraic expressions. So let's go ahead and set them equal to each other to identify the value of x. So we can just get the x to one side. So let's get the x to like a 7x. So therefore we get 2x minus 5 is equal to 3. Add 5. Add 5, so we get 2x. That's not an x. 2x is equal to 8. Divide by 2, x is equal to 4. So now we use this equality statement to identify the variable x. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this sum statement to figure out the JL. So again, we know that JK plus KL equals JL. So now, kind of using all my space here, but we can use 9x minus 5, that's JK, plus KL, which is 7x plus 3, so that's KL, is equal to what? Well, let's evaluate for, or that's equal to what, JL? Let's evaluate x, let's replace x with actually its value, which is 4. So it'd be 9 times 4 minus 5 plus 7 times 4 plus 3. And what is that going to equal for JL? So 9 times 4 is 36 minus 5 plus 28 plus 3. And 36 minus 5 is going to be 31. 28 plus 3 is going to be 31 equals JL. And then 31 plus 31, guys, is 62. So JL is equal to 62. And I always try to leave myself more space so I don't do what I tell my students not to do and get some jumbled mess here right around. Why is it doing that? That's really weird. Oh, that's my screen. Okay, never mind. All right, let's look at the next one. So the next one is find the equation of the height when you have a equilateral. So or an equilateral triangle, that means all the side lengths are equal in size. So a couple things when we have an equilateral triangle, not only are all the sides equal, but we also know the angles here. So that's 60 degrees, that's 60 degrees, and that's 60 degrees. Now, if we have 60 degrees and we have a height, basically that's going to produce an angle bisector, which in this case is going to be 30 degrees, which is splitting up that angle. All right. Now, the next thing is you could use trigonometric ratios like sine, cosine, tangent to understand what height would be with the relationship of this variable. But I bet what they're looking in for us using is these special triangle relationships. So let's pretend then this is x. If I have the height going straight up, then that's going to break this equilateral triangle. That's going to break this into x divided by 2. Now, I could figure out height by basically using the Pythagorean theorem. If I say this is some measurement, whoever knows what it is, right? But let's just use x for a variable. Then I know that if that's going to be x, then this is going to be that side length divided by 2. And then if I use the Pythagorean theorem, if I basically use x is the hypotenuse, so we could say x squared is equal to x over 2 squared plus h squared. Now maybe you recognize the Pythagorean relationship here, and you could kind of go from there because the distance, this is what we call the short leg to the long leg, or to the long leg. And the short leg to the long leg, even though it's not really properly drawn, is going to be a multiplier by the square root of 3. So you could go ahead and solve for h and do some little math here, or you could basically represent that h is going to be x square root of 3 divided by 2. So basically the distance from the short leg to the long leg, and again, let me write up a little statement here for you. Like here's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, so if this is x, let's pretend this is 1, then this would be 2, and this would be, let's use x. Well, crap, I don't want to overly complicate this, but let's do this as y. From short leg to the hypotenuse is 2y. And then from short leg to long leg is going to be y times the square root of 3. So this is considered the short leg, that's considered the the hypotenuse, and that's the long leg. So that's the relationship of what we call the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if you want to look that up to kind of confirm what I went through, that's what I used to be able to figure out the height, is the special relationships of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So when you have an equilateral triangle and you create that angle perpendicular bisector, that creates an angle bisector here, splits that in half. That bisects this side, and therefore, if you just use relationships however you want to, you get x. That'd be x divided by 2, and then this would be the height. And again, you could also do this with the Pythagorean theorem. It's just a little bit more math doing it that way, but you could definitely go through that way, and you'd get the exact same answer, square root of 3 over 2. Just to keep for time purposes, though, I'm gonna just use the special relationship from there. All right, let's move on to the next one. Angle BAT. So let's go ahead and draw BAT. BAT has an angle bisector. Okay, so again, guys, if you have an angle bisector, that means that's cutting that angle in half. So we have BAT, and this is going to be C. So the angle of BAT is equal to 2x plus 5, and BAC is going to equal to 3x minus 5. Okay, so one thing that we talked about in this previous one, in the midpoint one, obviously when you have a midpoint, like 5 is equal to 5, right? Well, that's the exact same thing for an angle bisector. When you have an angle bisector, I just did it here. This actually was not designed to like make any connections with their questions, but it kind of works. Like if you have this perpendicular bisector that bisects the side length, if you have an angle bisector, that's going to cut that angle in half. And this is an equilateral triangle, 60, 60, 60. But it has a perpendicular or an angle bisector that cuts it in half. So therefore, if we know that BAC, or at least I was told BAC is 3x minus 5, then the angle CAT also has to equal 3x minus 5. Right? So therefore, we're going to say CAT also has to be 3x minus 5 per the definition of an angle bisector as far as cutting that angle in half. Both side lengths are going to be exactly the same. So again, we can now see here, we can maybe now add them. So this plus this has to equal BAT. So we can say 3x minus 5, let's just do times 2, is equal to 2x plus 10. Right? You could say 3x minus 5 plus 3x minus 5 is equal to 2x plus 10. And then let's go ahead and divide a 2 on both sides. It's been a really, really long time since I did a problem like this. So 3x minus 5 is equal to x plus 5. And then subtract an x on both sides. So therefore you get 2x minus 5 is equal to 5. And then add a 5. Add a 5. 2x is equal to 10. Therefore, divide by 2, x is equal to 5. And I'm not sure if that was the question. The question was, well, the question was solve. I'm not sure if that's the way. Maybe the question was like find the angle of BAT, determine the measure of BAT. So if angle BAT is equal to 2x plus 10, and we know that x is equal to 5, then we can just evaluate that by plugging the 5 in, and therefore we would get 20. So I think that was what that question was asking, or what would help, and therefore hopefully I have that right, because I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to do a lot of geometry questions without looking at it. All right, guys, and the last question I'm going to do here before I'm going to have to sign off on this first live stream is it a hole or an asymptote? All right, so how do you know? Or another way to do it is, how do you know, is it removable or non-removable? Okay, so I was teaching this actually today, and I kind of ran into an issue which I found, the students. I think the main thing is understanding where the domain is, and at least understanding the discontinuities. Because when we look at a graph, it's easy to understand where the discontinuities are. That's where the graph, obviously the graph either breaks apart, or we can see that the graph is undefined. So I think the main important thing is understanding where there are discontinuities in the domain. So this is a rational function. When identifying the domain of a rational function, we're going to set the denominator equal to 0. So I'm just going to find the domain real quick. Now, this is not part of the question, but I found this to be easy for people to understand this type of question, is by understanding the domain first. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. Now, let's go ahead and factor this. So to solve for this, I'm going to want to factor it. So I'm going to do x plus 3, and x minus 1. Okay, now I can use the zero product property, set each factor equal to 0. And then x is equal to -3 and x is equal to +1. Okay, so these are the values that make my denominator equal to 0. These are the values that are not in the domain, right? These are not in the domain. These are the values that make my denominator equal to 0, right? Plug in -3, plug in 1. They make the denominator equal to 0. They're not in the domain. So what type of discontinuity are they? Are they a hole or are they an asymptote? Are they removable or are they not removable without even looking at the graph? So the way to do that Okay, but you got to understand these are your discontinuities. So the way to do that is to simplify f of x. So we're going to simplify f of x by factoring the numerator as well as factoring the denominator. By factoring the numerator, I'm looking for what two numbers multiply to give you 3, add to give you negative 4. That's going to be an x minus 1 and a x minus 3. As far as the denominator, we already factored that out when we were finding the domain. That's x plus 3, and that's x minus 1. All right, so now what we notice is if we were to simplify this, right, simplifying rational expressions, we recognize that since we have this product of them and we have expressions that are exactly the same, we can divide them out. So we can simplify this to x minus 3 divided by x plus 3. And I didn't really mean for it to be pluses, use 3's both case. Crap. But either way, that's what we have. Now, that's a simplified expression. We know there's a discontinuity at 1. 1 makes the denominator equal to 0. It doesn't make the denominator equal to 0 of the simplified version, so we have to understand that 1 got removed, or x equals 1 is still not in the domain, right? Because it produces a hole. If you were to graph this equation, there would be a hole at x equals 1. On the equation, it gets simplified, it gets removed, it gets canceled out, it gets divided out. When it's simplified, but when it's non-simplified, it's still there. So even though it gets simplified and removed out, or it can be removed out, doesn't mean that it's like all of a sudden not part of the domain anymore. It's still not part of the domain. It's just, it can be removed algebraically. Whereas the non-removable discontinuity is the discontinuity that cannot, that's still in the denominator. So this is your non-removable discontinuity. You can't divide that out. You can't simplify that out. That's there. That's stuck, right? X plus 3 is your non-removable discontinuity. But again, we're not really talking about x plus 3. We're talking about, well, what happened when we took x plus 3 and set it equal to 0? That gave us the discontinuity of x equals negative 3. So negative x equals negative 3, not that negative 3, but when this x plus 3 is set equal to 0, gives you the value of where the vertical asymptote is, or the non-removable discontinuity. So hopefully that went ahead and helped. I do apologize. I see some of you guys have added in some questions. And, you know, this live stream was supposed to only be about 20 minutes, and I ended up going 40 minutes, but that's okay. I will be back, guys, next week. I will put out some stuff for you guys to go ahead and submit your questions. So therefore, when I start my live stream, I can go ahead and get going right into the content, you know, for you. And we don't have to kind of wait around and see what questions are coming up. So obviously, as you're starting your week and you have some questions you want me to cover, you know, make sure that you go ahead and get those sent in. And I will try to do my best to stay on top of your guys' questions and help as many of you as I can. Otherwise, guys, I will keep on adding in some more videos and look forward to joining you guys on the stream this year. So hope everybody has a great year, and I look forward to chatting with you and helping out with your math. So cheers. All done. I guess I could end the stream over here. Yeah. Bye.